Good morning. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see. My computer is not charging for some reason. That's weird and not good, actually. Huh. Oh, there it goes. All right. So, welcome back to Fun Fold Friday. We're going to make a really unique card today. And let me just pull out my tearing tape. And I am using another product from the mini catalog. Now, this product actually is beautiful. I think it's going to be one of those favorites where it's going to disappear really quick. And it's called Perennial Lavender. And it has this beautiful stamp and die set. Hi, Dawn. And also this one here. And I'm actually going to use both of them. So let me just pull it out here for a second. So it's the one is called Perennial Postage. Okay, and it's all the sentiments. And then the dies that coordinate look like postage stamps. And I am actually going to be using this one here today. So we're going to leave that out. I'm also going to be using the Go-To Greetings stamp set that is in the old annual catalog. It's not old, but the annual catalog. And let me just check my messages here. And then this is the Painted Lavender stamp set and the coordinating dies. All right, really, really pretty set. I'm looking forward to using this. And then it has some gorgeous designer series paper, which I'm also going to be using today. Hey, Karen, how are you? Thank you, thank you. So that is what I am using today, okay? And I'm actually going to use some gorgeous grape. Let me grab my ruler so we can go through what the sizes are. So this is 11 by 6, and we're going to have to make our own envelope for it also. And it's scored at 1, 2 3/4, 3 3/4, 5 1/2, 7 1/4, 8 1/4, and 10. And I will have this on my blog probably in the morning. And the first thing we're going to do is, if we fold this in half, we actually want this center score line, and we are going to take a pencil, and I probably should sharpen it. Sheba, what are you doing? And we're going to mark it at 1 inch from this side and 1 inch from the opposite side. All right, so 1 and 1. I'm just going to pull this down a wee bit. And then I'm going to grab my trimmer. And what we're going to do is we're going to line up that score line. And we know that this is 5 1/2, so we can actually put it right at the 5 1/2 inch mark. And we are going to cut a slit. So we're going to take our cutter and get it to the 1 inch mark. Let's move that over. And we are going to cut it down to the 5 inch mark. All right. So we're going to move it down to the 5 inch mark. So we just put a 4 inch slit. Now I'm just going to move it over a hair. Not even a 1/16 of an inch. And we're going to do it again. We're just going to cut it from the 5 to the 1. And hopefully my blade is sharp enough that it was able to do that. All right. So now you'll notice that we have this very teeny tiny little strip that we cut out of the center. So like I said, it's not even a 1/16 of an inch. All right, so now we have that slit. So let's fold and burnish. And we're just going to fold all of them in the same direction. That one we did. Let's turn it and to go from this end now. And one more. All right, so now we have it all folded and burnished. Now I'm going to take my tearing tape, and they're both 1 inch from each side. And I just want to see. So this is the wrong side where it curls up. So on the right-hand side, we are going to add some tearing tape. And I'm going to turn it this way so it doesn't fall off my table. And I am going to lay this out. Let's see if I have a lid here. I like to cut my tearing tape with the cap of my glue. Where is it? Here it is. I have a little basket here filled with all my adhesives. All right, so I like to trim it off with my glue. How crazy is that? So I'm just going to put a couple strips on here, and you'll see why in a second. All right, so there is our tearing tape. Okay. Now what we're going to do is, oh, dogs. I cut my finger again. Hold on one second. We also have a piece of acetate, and this is about 3 7/8 by 6 inches. Okay, now this isn't the acetate from inside the stamp sets. It is actually the acetate that you can buy in packages, only because it is a bit stronger than the acetate from the stamp boxes. And what we're going to do is we're going to feed this through that slit that we created. All right, so you can see I'm feeding it through that slit. And we are going to, I can't believe I cut my finger. Fold this piece over. All right, let's get rid of the paper. That's one. I don't want it to stick yet. And 2 and 3. So we're taking that off our tearing tape, okay? And we're going to pull this acetate down and line it up. I wish I had a Band-Aid in this room, but I don't. We're going to line it up with the bottom here, all right? So we want to make sure that it is perfectly straight. So we're just going to pull it down and line it up on the bottom of this sheet. And I just want to make sure it's straight. And it looks pretty good. And then we're going to adhere that down really good. All right. Give me 1 second. Let me see if I have a piece of regular tape in here, which I probably do not. I did before Christmas. All right, let's take some washi tape. Sorry, ladies. I just don't want this to bleed all over the place. Give me 2 seconds. Let's see how this works. Ah, much better. Okay. It's not going to stay, though. All right, so now that we have this adhered to this tear and tape, I'm going to grab my tear and tape, and I am, again, going to add a couple strips to the acetate so it has the cardstock has something to stick to. All right, let's take this off. Take this off. Now we're going to take our other 1-inch end. Here's the center. We're going to just fold it over and adhere it down. All right. So now this is what, here's the adhesive, there's the acetate. When we push down on this, the acetate will be nice and tall, right? So it folds up to fit into an envelope that we're going to create after we're done. Now I have some designer series paper. Now this designer series paper is directional. Okay, so if we're looking at it, it is directional. So this is the right side up. And what I'm going to do is add a piece to the top here. And this measures 5 3/4 by 1 1/2. So where it is directional, we want to make sure that we put it in the right direction. So I'm just going to add some glue. I have Sheba in here with me because Bill is still sleeping and I still can't trust her by herself. All right, so we're going to lay that down right there. That's the top of this little box. And then we're going to take another piece that measures 5 3/4 by 1/2. And again, being aware of the direction of the designer series paper. You know what? I'm going to quick flip this over and put it on this side. This way it lines up this other piece. Not only is it directional, but you'll see it matches on this side, the designer series paper. So it looks like it goes. It might not match on the other side, so we'll make sure this is the front. So we're just going to turn this over. Now add this piece to the top. All right. All right, so that's our designer series paper. Again, when we push this down now, it does stand, so we have to just get it where it is. All right, so it does stand. I'm just going to close it up again for a little bit. And with that lavender, perennial lavender suite, it also has these beautiful butterflies, and they're called paper butterfly accents. And I am actually going to grab a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to take one sheet because we can actually use all of these butterflies. And I am going to grab my blending brush and some gorgeous grape ink. What are you, hold on one second, ladies. What are you doing? Please stop. She's like a 2-year-old. And I am going to ink it up, and I am going to add some color to these butterflies. You can leave them white if you like. I'm going to make them gorgeous grape. So we're just going to add some color. Now the opposite side of these, I'm not even sure what color they are. Alright, so now we have some pretty purple butterflies. The backside is also white, but we're going to leave them white. And we're just going to remove them from this sheet. Just like that. They make some really pretty stencils too. All right. Now I'm going to grab a piece of white designer series paper. White cardstock. What am I talking about? Give me 1 second here. And I am going to stamp "You Mean the World to Me" in gorgeous grape. And let's put it about here. And do you remember the postage stamp that I said I was going to use? It might not be. Oh, it's not bad. All right. I am going to put this on. Make sure it is straight. And we're going to run this through the cut and emboss machine. So you can see it looks just like a little postage stamp, right? So I'm going to turn it over, and I am going to grab some tear tape again. I'm going to add it to the back. Make sure it's on there really good. And I'm just looking, my my pokey tool just walked off. I guess it was tired of being on my table. Oh, here it is. So we're going to take this, remove those pieces, and I am going to flatten this out, and we're going to add this to the acetate. Now I just want to make sure it is going on here straight. I guess we could use the lines. I'm going to move it down just a little bit more. All right, so that is attached to the acetate. Okay, and then we're going to take our butterflies, and I am going to put the large one in the center, and I'm going to use some glue. We're going to have to let this dry a little bit. I'm going to put it in the center of that acetate. Okay, let's get some of this. You got to make sure you don't use too much glue like I just did. There we go. And then we'll take one of the smaller ones. Make sure I don't add too much glue this time. Put this one here. And then we'll take the one that's facing sideways. Add some glue. We'll put it on this side. Also with this set comes these beautiful purple fine shimmer gems. Okay. And I am going to actually use the one in the center. Let's put a large one here. Sheba's chomping on a bone. And we'll put two over here. And then we are going to grab one of the other butterflies, and we're going to stick it onto the top of the card. And we want to make sure that it stays within the boundaries of the card. Okay. And then I have, well, I did have my sentiment. Let's see what I did with it. Okay, what did I do with it? We'll have to cut another one. I don't see it here. All right, so there's our card so far. Next, I am going to grab just a scrap piece of basic white, and this is the happy birthday from the Go-To Greetings. And I'm going to grab some gorgeous grape, and we're just going to stamp this sentiment. It's actually a little too wide. I'm going to just trim this down a bit. So our little cat friend was at the door this morning. All right, so I'm going to get this on here. Hopefully it is centered. Nope. Let's try it again. It's not too bad. I'm going to trim it off just a hair so it's a little bit straighter. So give me 1 second. Whoops. All right. So I'm just going to trim it off here. Trim it off here. Let's pull our card back in, and we're just going to adhere this right to that little panel in the front. So we'll add a little bit of glue. I'm going to put it off to the side, right on that designer series paper. Grab our gems again. I'm going to grab 2 of the larger ones. Put one there. Oh, stop. And one here. And then we have our card. So when it folds up, it will stand and it will look like this. All right. So it'll look like your sentiment and everything is floating. And once you have this and it is, the folds get used to the way they are, it will stand up all on its own. All right. Now you need an envelope for this card because it's a little bit Sheba, bigger than a regular envelope. Please stop. Be a good girl. All right, so we are going to be using the Stampin' Up! Envelope board, and I cut this to be 10 3/4 by 10 3/4, and we have to punch and score at 4 7/8. So let me get my, and if you've never used one of these before, this is actually the Stampin' Up! We Are Memory. All right. So it's at 4 7/8. You got to punch and then score. And then we're going to have to bring it out a little bit more, but we'll turn it 4 7/8 again and score. And turn it. And you're going to do each side 4 7/8. And then turn it again 4 7/8. And score. And then we have our envelope. So you would fold up. And I got to pull my other scoreboard out so we can extend these lines, okay? Because where the paper is a little bit longer, we're just going to line it up at 7. Make sure that our lines are straight. Isn't she pathetic? She knows that that little cat is outside, and she is in love with that little cat. And she's got to go outside 100 times a day. And then this one. Oops. All right. So we can now fold this all up. Okay, and oh, great. We take our card, and our card should fit, hopefully, and it does not. I measured wrong. I will fold my, let's see. Come on, sheep, stop, please. It is just a little bit too long. So I will be back with another way to create our envelope. All right. Yes, she does want to go out because she wants to go play with that cat. She just loves that stray that's outside. We were just out right before this video, and I guess it was 9:45 when we went outside, so she doesn't have to go, that's for sure. But there is today's card. All right, I will figure out the envelope pieces again, but this is what the card will look like standing up. I'll take a picture. You'll be able to see it floating, and I will have all the measurements on my blog in the morning. So thanks for joining me, ladies. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.